Good evening and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include update on the school, August health tip, new slipway plan for Furby's Arbor. These stories plus community events, the BBS Playbill, Off the Rack, and more coming up after this.
Participation, finding solutions. Getting active is easy. And Canada's Physical Activity Guide shows just how easy it is. Rosella chooses to go skating with her daughter Letitia. They're having fun, and they're also enjoying the benefits of physical activity.
Physical activity is one of the ways in which we have so much fun together.
Rosella's solution is a participation solution. Try it.
On Wednesday of this week, we took a visit to the new school site. Here's what we saw. The August health tip tells us that we should relax, rejuvenate, and get ready during the easy days of summer. Enjoy the long days, warm temperatures, and the relaxed pace that summer has to offer. Take advantage of the weather to get active. Making physical activity a part of your daily routine now can help establish a commitment that will be easier to maintain in the colder months ahead. Take an after-dinner walk, go for a bike ride or rollerblade, have a family game of soccer, relax and rejuvenate. Meditate, catch up on some reading, do stretching exercises, enjoy visiting with friends and family. School is just around the corner. Start the year off on a positive note by talking to your child about the fun and challenges that school has to offer and involving them in back-to-school preparations. Find out now how to handle common concerns such as illnesses, lice, homework hassles, and friendship woes. Remember, relax, rejuvenate, and get ready during the easy days of summer. Funding has been approved for a new slipway at Furby's Arbor. This slipway has been slated to be removed and replaced. Under the direction of the Arbor Authority, 5 workers will receive 10 weeks of work. The tentative date to begin construction was on Wednesday of this week. However, work is expected to begin on Monday, August the 25th. Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
Participation, finding solutions. Getting active is easy. Canada's Physical Activity Guide shows just how easy it is. Larry chooses to play volleyball with neighbors. They're having fun. They're also enjoying the benefits of physical activity.
Well, it's just unbelievable fun. I hope we have a great time.
Larry's solution is a participation solution. Try it.
Now over to Mayor Ann with the council report.
Good evening. Burgeo Town Council report for the month of August. We held our regular meeting on Wednesday, August the 21st. We had 5 members in attendance. Items up for discussion. Roof over the rink. Application has been completed by the committee and the town manager. This application was submitted to the government for requesting $621,000 in a cost-shared arrangement. And the application was filled out the way that we had been requested to complete the application. In fact, Minister Langdon advised us to complete the application asking for a 80-20 cost sharing. However, our application went in and we've been advised that it cannot be considered until the 2003-2004 fiscal year for the capital works. That'll be in next year's capital works program. However, the sad part with that was that we were also informed that the government doesn't enter into programs with municipalities for recreation purposes on a 80-20 cost shared basis, but rather it's a 50-50 cost shared basis. Now, you know, this is conflicting things. 1 month you're being requested to submit something on a 80-20 cost sharing basis, and when you do it, then you're advised that, you know, there's no such programs and everything is only on a 50-50 cost shared program. So council will be responding to this, and we will be advising the minister that we had been informed to apply under 80-20 and asking what happened there to the 80-20 program. It's our understanding that there is towns that it's getting 80-20 cost sharing. So what would make Burgeo different? Along with that, we will be contacting our MHA, Mr. Parsons, Minister Parsons, and advising him of this and see what he has to say about it. But really, the council was very displeased over the reply that we got back. Water treatment plant. I'm sure quite a few of you now have been in the area where the water treatment equipment will be put in place. And you can see that it do look like a fine building. It is, for all intents and purposes, phase 1 of the water treatment plant being completed. Phase 2 has been all cleared and it went to tender. Or rather, it was a tender called on today's date, Wednesday, August the 21st. So if we can move along without any problems there and the tenders come in as in line with what we're expecting, then tenders will close probably in 2 weeks' time, then give us a month or thereabouts to get the thing looked at, which we could possibly see work, I guess, beginning in October. And, you know, if this should move the way that we'd like to see it move, then we're sort of targeting the month of December to coming on stream with the new water system. So that's a good news story right there. Regarding the government shed, I'm sure you're all concerned and interested in what's happening there. Well, to our knowledge, everything is moving along, and the last that the town manager was informed, Mr. Steve Noseworthy will be in town during the week of August the 26th and put some firm commitments in place to proceed with the upgrading of the government shed. This summer, we had hoped to get our basketball courts, this coating that goes on this type of thing. We've experienced quite a problem in getting the materials for this. However, the town manager informs us that he's pretty optimistic that he have now found a source whereby he's going to get this material. The company that supplies it just ran out, and I guess they've had problems in getting this. So now whether we'll put it on for this season or not, I guess that's a decision we'll have to make once we do receive it. But nevertheless, it is something that's going to improve the volleyball, basketball courts once it's put in place. Another thing which council has dealt with, and maybe it wasn't a direct responsibility of council, however, council did take it upon themselves, excuse me, to complain about this outcropping of rock that you see over there where the new school is being erected. You know, we certainly don't agree with what they've done there. They've leveled off a piece of land to build a new school, costing, I think, over $4 million. And then they leave a big rock right in the middle of everything. And it's going to take away from the looks of the place. It is possible that it could be dangerous. Plus, if it was removed, anyone was to go there and look, you know, and you're only talking probably $20,000, $25,000 to remove it. If it was removed, it would increase the parking area tremendously. So therefore, council did write letters to Minister Foote and school board and one and the other. However, they came back, Minister Foote did, and categorically informed us that you know, they're not going to do anything about it, and as far as they're concerned, the case is closed. Well, I don't know. There's not much else council can do about it. You know, really, when it comes to provincial governments and federal governments, they don't really need permits to construct buildings even. However, they do offer us the common courtesy of providing us with the plans and request permits. So our hands are tied with regard to making sure that that outcropping of rock is gone. However, council will still lodge with the Department of Education our concerns with regard to safety due to that rock being there, and our objections in general will be expressed to them, so that if anything down the road in years to come should happen, then I guess whoever the council may be at that time, they can certainly pull out a letter and say that you were notified of this by the Burgess Town Council when you did it. You know, it just doesn't make, it's nonsensical. That's exactly what that is over there. And but it seems like certain people, when they dig their heels in, they're not going to budge, and that's it. But that's the actions that's been taken from your council with regard to this matter. Now, whether the school board, I mentioned it to our rep out on the Government Wharf one day, and he wasn't even aware of it, so I don't know if he's taken any action onto it or not. But that's the situation there. Car wrecks, still a problem getting rid of the car wrecks. As you know, we did have a contract signed with municipal recyclers, and they went into bankruptcy. And however, the town manager advises that there's another company, I'm not sure of the name, is Abbott's Recycling. They're doing some work here on the West Coast at the present time, and it's looking as if we might be able to get them to come in and take care of the old car wrecks. Along with that, the tires up at the dump has now all been put in one area, and Work Service and Transportation will probably be coming in the near future and cleaning up that site. The Economic Development Officer gave us a report on what's happening in that department. No doubt he will be giving you his report, so I won't go into this. There was just two very strong points which he brought out. One is with regard to the sea urchins. It appears very much as if, well, in fact, he is convinced that it's not going to move. Apparently the government has dug in with their policies. One is They will not fund any fisheries development that is considered to be primary. DFO is prepared that they're not going to move, and Class C urchins as secondary processing or emerging species or whatever you might call it. They're just going to look at sea urchins as just another fishery. So therefore, if they don't designate it as emerging species or secondary processing, then the funding agencies with the federal government will not approve any money. So according to the development officer, it appears as if that's a done issue and it's off the boards, although I think he is rooting a little bit there, but I don't think he's got a big lot of, he's not very optimistic. The solid waste management, the report has been done by SGE Engineering. Copy has been delivered to the town office, and each town in the area, Francois, Grey River, Ramy, and ourselves. So we will be going over that and seeing what's what's there and which way we should go. And it very well could be, you know, that you won't see any change and that it will be status quo for this area. Regarding Sandbank Provincial Park, Council had some discussion on this. There's quite a few issues which Council's got a little concerns about, and we acknowledge that our park is probably our biggest drawing ticket with regard to tourism. I think many of the businesses in town this year have seen the benefits of tourism and the tourism dollar. So rather than take up a large amount of our time with this what if and does this happen, that happen, Council decided that we would extend an invitation to the parks, the supervisory outside the leaders of that part of the government, tourism and so on, and see if they would come in and sit down and meet with Council and possibly some of the BDDB, and we'll have a discussion on Sandbanks Provincial Park in general with items such as water to the campsites, electricity to the campsites, and there's a host of topics as far as we're concerned that should be addressed when it comes to the park. Zoning, rezoning rather. I'm sure you saw the notice on television there where a certain part of Messers was going to be rezoned to accommodate a person who's purchased a piece of land and would like to erect a dwelling. Under the old zoning laws, the project couldn't go ahead because it was zoned recreational, and it had to be rezoned for housing. So the necessary paperwork was put into place, and then the proper motions were passed in Council on Wednesday night to take that one step further. I might advise people out there at this time just the same, you know, that whenever you rezone or do something, there's a cost involved. You, the taxpayer, have not been had to bear that cost. The proponent himself will be picking up the tab for any costs involved in this rezoning thing. There was quite a few housekeeping things with regard to different things around town and so on, you know, what I call potholes and so on. And one thing which came up very much, probably not as much for the town, was the Burgo Road, the abutments to some of the bridges. I'm sure we're all aware of. I mean, they're quite rough. So we're going to express our concerns to Work Services and Transportation with regard to that. I'm sure some of you or most of you have now taken notice that you do have white lines back on Route 480. I'm sure it, you know, it really do help in foggy weather and nighttime and so on. We've been given a figure of $89,000 to put those lines on the road. Sounds like a big figure to me, but that's what we've been given, and I really do think, you know, that the thanks there for those white lines, even though it may have been initiated at the town council office, I think a lot of the thanks has got to go to our MHA Minister Calvin Parsons. So with that in mind, having successfully done something, it was agreed that the town would write a letter to Work Services, Mr. Percy Barrett and Mr. Parsons, and thank them for the white lines. Soon now, the Newfoundland and Labrador Federation Municipalities, well, in fact, the date is October the 31st to November the 2nd, they will be holding their annual convention. Now, the Newfoundland and Labrador Federation of Municipalities is probably the largest and lobbying group that there is in the province of Newfoundland to lobby with government, and they do have a fairly successful success rate. Every year at the NLFM, there's resolutions presented for approval and to see if the membership agrees with certain things that affects probably most towns. So therefore, the Burgeo Town Council last night, we approved 3 resolutions that we will be submitting to the Newfoundland and Labrador Federation of Municipalities. Resolution number 1 is to request the government to unilaterally declare custodial management over the Flemish cap, nose, and tail of the Grand Banks. I won't go into the whereases and so on, but I will give you the meat of the resolution, and it is that, therefore be it resolved that the Newfoundland and Labrador Federation of Municipalities, in partnership with the Canadian Federation of Municipalities and all Atlantic provinces, petition the federal government to unilaterally declare custodial management over the Flemish cap, nose, and tail of the Grand Banks. And that is Resolution 1, which Burgeo Town Council will be submitting to the Newfoundland and Labrador Federation of Municipalities. Our second resolution is regard to closure of East Coast ports to foreign fishing vessels and for the transshipment of fish through our ports. Now, you know, while our towns and fish plants lay idle, there's a considerable amount of fish, so I've been informed, in the cold storages at Argentia, Arbor Grace, Bay Roberts, Coley's Point, that's being shipped to China. So, you know, and even the fish companies in this province are part of those deals, and it's my understanding that they're profiting from the overfishing and the fishing outside of 200. Given that, the Burgeo Town Council have submitted a resolution, and it says, therefore be it resolved that the Newfoundland and Labrador Federation of Municipalities petition the provincial and federal governments to close East Coast ports to all foreign fishing vessels and transshipment of foreign catches. And furthermore, should the islands of St. Pierre and Miquelon be opportunists and capitalize on those closures, then Canadian seaports, airports, hospitals, and any other services which St. Pierre and Miquelon depend on Canada for should be withdrawn. And then finally, our third resolution to submit to the NLFM, as I say, the Newfoundland and Labrador Federation of Municipalities represents over 200, I believe it's something like 270 towns in this province. That's what its membership is made up of. And it's involved in a lot of issues, but the Burgeo Town Council will be asking them, therefore be it resolved that the Newfoundland and Labrador Federation of Municipalities serve notice on all provincial government parties that the Newfoundland and Labrador Federation of Municipalities demands that they make the fishery in this province their #1 priority. So what we're doing there, we're petitioning the NLFM to, as we all know, I mean, we're going to have an election within another 12 to 18 months for sure, and therefore we want to inform the PCs, the Liberals, the NDP, Rhinoceros Party, whoever is going to be running for government, that in our opinions, that it is time that this province made the fishery its #1 priority and got down to the job of trying to clear up the mess that has been created and see if we can't get things back on a, I'll say, something that's going to make rural Newfoundland survive in the future. There's some time ago I mentioned to the plans that the Department of Highways has in changing the way they're going to do their snow clearing this year. And as I say, you know, the Burgeo Town Council in their letter to them expressed that we had no objections to them revamping the way they're going to do the snow clearing. However, we did express very, very clearly that, you know, we didn't want to see any downgrading of services. However, since that's been made, announcement's been made, several councillors, myself included, certain people have talked to us that feels it's a bad thing to the way that they're going to do the thing and so on. And I think most people at council still is not convinced because we can't get a clear picture of the people who's objecting to it is really what their objections are. However, having said that, we felt that maybe these people should be given a chance to express their concerns directly. Therefore, council will be trying to arrange for someone with work services to come in and sit down and answer the questions that some of these people and the concerns that they've got. So with that in mind, the town manager will be doing the appropriate contacts and see if a meeting can be set up and with council and some of those people who have expressed their concerns, and just sort of flush the thing out and see where it goes from there. And that was just about it, except for the paying of invoices, which is always usually the closing off of the meetings, and approval was granted for invoices to be paid in the amount of $16,038.91. Summer is just about over, and I think it's the time now when, you know, if there's some of you there who, before the winter comes, has got some work to do on your water lines, and you say, before winter comes now, I got to do this or I got to do that. Well, it's getting close, so I just remind you that maybe this is the time to replace that valve and that leaky line you got and so on, and get things ready before the winter months come. And that's it from council for this week.
Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
Participation, finding solutions. Rosella's challenge, finding time for her daughter Letitia.
As a single parent, I think one of the toughest things is whether or not the relationship that you have with your child is as concrete or as solid as you think that it is. Physical activity is one of the ways in which we have so much fun together.
Rosella got some great ideas from Canada's Physical Activity Guide.
What it says to me is get up off your duff and go for a walk. People get to see, how should I block in physical activity in my life? When we're out playing, we're interacting and laughing and having a great time. I think it cements the relationship.
The guide will help you make wise choices about physical activity. For your free copy of Canada's Physical Activity Guide, call 1-888-334-9769. Participation says, try it.
Off the rack. This week, as we scanned our tape rack, we came across a flower video using footage of flower gardens around town. Let's look back to September the 5th, 1999. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. For This Week in Review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night and God bless.